After moving to Canada from her birthplace in Lebanon at the young age of 17, Dr. Vivian Aboud made it her goal to make new opportunities for herself as an immigrant woman. As a young mother to 3 children, she successfully attained degrees in education, a PhD in governance and leadership, and established her own business aimed at granting opportunities for newly immigrated women. She has proven that perseverance and hard work pays off. This is Vivian's Alberta story.
Vivian, thanks for welcoming us into your home.
It's wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Take us back several years when you first came to Alberta. What was it like?
It was a very lovely, exciting experience. I got here and I had my husband, I had my family, I had so many people surrounding me, welcoming me. My first impression of Alberta was, that green space. People are so nice to you. So the diversity was so evident. Right away, I could feel the freedom of what I could say, what I could do.
Back when you were in Lebanon, different in that you have to watch how you would say things. Give us an idea of the difference.
Well, in Lebanon, because I survived a civil war, so I would say that I witnessed too many injustices. During the war, you worry about your life, you worry about your safety, you don't have a say, you do not want to be affiliated to any political views. So really, I'd say the human rights were not there for everyone, and the freedom, you could feel it, that it wasn't there. So I think that that's why, for me, right away, that's the first thing I noticed, because I was deprived of that back home, I'd say, to a certain extent.
So here, the big difference, but also some challenges for you as a young woman after immigrating here.
That's right, because I got here, I spoke, French was my second language, English was my third language. I saw the opportunities right away, and I wanted to make a difference. I did not want anyone to speak on my behalf. I did not want anyone to define me. So I knew that I need to develop myself. I knew that I wanted to understand what's going on outside of my own welcoming community. I would go to the store and buy things, and I try to understand things and put myself in situations where I did not necessarily know how to convey the message. But for me, the most important thing was living that experience. And being able to contribute to it, not be a listener and follower, but be someone who's living it.
What sort of support did you have?
I'd say I had lots of support from my husband and from my my in-laws. They supported me in a way that I could be of service for others. My family here, my 3 children, they did support me quite a bit, and the community was very welcoming, which was very warm and nice to have. But at the same time, I made lots of sacrifices with my, raising a family.
And there are still challenges existing for immigrant women these days.
I feel, for me as an immigrant woman, is that the barriers and the challenges for immigrant women are almost double. They say there's a glass ceiling, there's a double glass ceiling, because sometimes the challenges or the barriers come from within the person, the community that you were raised in, the mentality you were raised in, sometimes the culture. You have to be a person who challenges herself. You have to be a person who looks at her weaknesses and not be afraid of them, and not waste your time on where there is resistance. Look for the opportunities, because here we have opportunities. Let's look for them and bridge out. So I think that definitely there's difficulties, but there's also ways of coming out and making sure that those difficulties don't stop you from doing what you want.
So you put in the meat, the vermicelli noodles, what else? Onions.
Now you developed Viva Cafe cafeterias. How is that helping immigrant women?
Well, because I work quite a bit in the community, for me it's very important and very rewarding. So what happened is I looked at, through my work, I noticed there are some women who were not given even the opportunity to come out of their homes. They don't know how, they don't know what to do. So I realized that there's I have an entrepreneurial spirit, so wherever I go I see opportunities. And I thought, okay, why don't I open up the cafeterias where, I could, hire women, give them the training, and have people who could train them. And that's what happened. We end up having the cafeterias. My husband's supporting me quite a bit, my parents, my family. I have so many backups. But but so we operate in a high school and in the botanical gardens. And the women, to me, it's not just about benefiting an opportunity for me, but it's a shared opportunity, because I get them to, I speak to them about many things that they could do outside, not only in the cafeteria, but outside also. So I find it's a way of helping me cultivate myself to make sure that I stay anchored, I don't forget about the challenges, but about cultivating others who could benefit from that. This one is, I was actually 21 actually. That's
your first of your 4 years.
That's right.
That's your, and was that education degree?
Education degree. Yeah.
Wow.
Both at the U of A and my doctorate at Simon Fraser University.
You're a manager with Alberta Education. You just completed your doctoral thesis on leadership, government in education, and you're just so community minded. Where are your aspirations going forward now?
I would say, and I mean, since I arrived here, I've always worked in the community. If it wasn't in my welcoming community at church, it would be outside, you know, volunteering. Right now, I'm the chair for Daughters Day, where we are celebrating the lives and achievements of women in our community. The chair for Institute for Canadian Citizenship, and that's where I like to stay connected to the fact that I became a Canadian citizen and try to help new citizens. So I think there's, for me, it's very important that I work with and for people, and I find it very rewarding. So I think that my future really lies in serving, and I've been serving for a long time, whether at the professional or community or personal level. And I don't take that for granted, and I find that it's our role to do that as engaged citizens.
And lastly, your message to other immigrant women.
For immigrant women, I'd say to them, if I can do it, you can do it. Don't look at the resistance and think that that's it, you can't do it. Just look outside and see where the opportunities, where you could make a difference, because definitely you can.
Thank you, Vivian, for sharing your Alberta story with us.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful. Thanks.
Vivian Aboud in Edmonton.